Unit 4, Part 5 is simplifying more complex radicals than we did in the last section. To simplify a radical, that means we are rewriting the radical using the smallest possible radicand. The steps to simplify radicals are: 1, do a factor tree for the radicand. You can do that on the side in the margin. Step 2, write the prime factorization of the radicand. Step 3, rewrite the radical with the new radicand expressed in prime factorization form. And 4, simplify the radical. And then 5, simplify completely. Let me demonstrate these steps for you. Step 1, do a factor tree. You see my factor tree for 48. Step 2, write the prime factorization in place of 48. So I took out the 48 and I wrote the prime factorization 2 to the power of 4th times 3. So at this point, we've just changed the 48 to its prime factorization. The rule says if the index and the exponent match, the answer is the base of the radicand. So we're going to change 2 to the 4th into 2 squared times 2 squared. We just took that floor and we split it up into 2's. The square root of 2 squared, or the square root of 4, is 2. So this 2 squared comes out with the 7 as a 2. And this 2 squared also comes out from under the radicand as a 2. Since the 3 has an exponent of 1, it stays under the radical. Now we simplify. 2 times 7 is 28 times radical 3. Now remember, the check is to type 7 times radical 48 in your calculator and get a decimal or an estimated value, and then type in 28 times radical 3 and get a decimal answer. And 28 times radical 3 comes out to 48.497. And if you check the original problem, 7 times radical 48, 48.497. So it does check. Sometimes your radical will be already in simplified form. That means it's prime, or it only has prime numbers that have exponents of 1. In those cases, just write already simplified. For question 3, 308, you can do the tree for it and come up with a prime factorization of 2 squared times 7 times 11. 2 has an exponent of 2, 7 has an exponent of 1, and 11 has an exponent of 1. The square root of 2 squared, or the square root of 4, is 2. So the coefficient 4 just tags along. The square root of 4 is 2. But since the 7 and the 11 have exponents of 1, they must stay under the radical as radicands. So we simplify the coefficients. 4 times 2 is 8. We simplify the radicand. 7 times 11 is 77. Now don't forget to do the check. Type in the original problem in your calculator and your simplified answer, and make sure that they are equal. Step 1, change the radicand to a prime factorization. Step 2, any exponents that are more than 2 rewrite as a power of 2. So we rewrote 2 to the 3rd as 2 squared times 2 to the 1st. Any exponents that are a 2 that match the index 2 can come out. The square root of 2 squared, or the square root of 4, comes out as a 2. Anything with an exponent of 1 stays as the radicand. Multiply the coefficients. Negative 11 times 2 is negative 22. Multiply the radicand. 2 times 37 is 74. Now don't forget to do the check, type the original problem, and get an estimated decimal answer. Type in your simplified answer and see if you get the same estimated decimal answer. Your homework tonight is to do Unit 4, Part 5 homework. You'll find that page on Schoology.